Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman X3. In the last part we beat some more Mavericks, and now we're actually going to go on some item collection in Tunnel Rhino stage. Now early on in it, I showed this room off. Now that we have Triad Thunder, we can actually get the heart tank in here by charging it up with the buster parts. I could technically use this method to get an item back in Crushed Crawfish stage, but there's another item there that I need something else to get first, so I'm going to wait until then to get that. And later on in the stage, we can do the same thing in order to get the last item in here. It's a really long attack animation. In fact, a lot of the charged up buster effects have that. Anyway, it's a Dr. Light capsule. Enter this capsule, X. Take this sensor upgrade for your helmet. The upgrade will help you to find hidden items based on the satellite readings. You should be able to tell the exact location of items using its ground-penetrating radar. This is actually one of the more useful head parts in terms of its overall purpose. As X will show you momentarily, it'll pretty much show you a map of the level and where the items are in it. When you're on the stage select, as I'll show off later on, you can also see what items are in the stage. There's you'll be able to tell where the items are based off a little red reticle on the certain state blocks. Fairly useful, actually. It also allows us to find a special other kind of power-up that I'll get into momentarily. On the overworld map, as I just mentioned, you can now see what items are in the stage. Anything that's pink, you can get, but you might be noticing these 4 question marks. I'll get into what those are momentarily. But first, it's time for our next Maverick. Alrighty then. Gravity Beetle stage, well, also, first off, I should mention, the map that the helmet brings up is only at the beginning of the stage. You cannot bring it up at will, sadly. Now, the hard tank in this stage we actually cannot get yet, because we actually haven't beaten the final Maverick yet. Well, at least to my final Maverick. These boxes will, once you defeat my next Maverick, these boxes will no longer be here. But we'll be getting the hard tank at the beginning of the very, next part with the item collection. However, it's also in this stage where we're able to get the first of well, actually the first of 2 new kinds of things. First off, ride armor parts. Yeah, remember the ride armors from X1 and 2? They're collectible items in this part, though, in this game, rather. However, we can't use it until we get the main armor. The first upgrade to that is in this stage. And it's also in this stage, as you notice, that there are now 4 question marks that we can get. Those are pink light capsules you can get to by usually doing some fairly tough platforming. They each have a specific effect that upgrades the armors. You can only get one, though. As for what they do, the head chips, the head enhancement chip, when you remain stationary, will slowly recover your health, and when you're full in health, your sub-tanks as well. As for the body chip, I'll get into that momentarily, because first off, here's the right armor parts. These are the frog parts. We won't be able to use these until later, though. Just get them because they're there. The body chip parts... since we haven't even gotten the normal body parts, I'll get into what that enhancement chip does later. When you get the arm enhancement chip, it gives you the Hyper Cannon special weapon, which shoots out charged up buster shots without needing to charge up, but it does have its own weapon energy bar, which gets restored as you take damage. And then the leg enhancement chip gives you an additional dash. Will I be showing these off? Technically, yes. But not in the way that you're not supposed to know about until you do certain criteria. Also, I gotta admit, I hate Gravity Beetle stage because these guys are all over the place. These freaking red enemies. If you beat the... who is going to be my 8th Maverick, his name is Blast Hornet, as you'll find out later in the part. These guys become much more harmless because they turn green and don't have as many attacks. It's a weird little environmental change that you get for defeating certain Mavericks in a certain order. I don't remember which enhancement chip is in which stage. I just know there's one in here. In fact, they are in... what stages are they in? They're in Gravity Beetle, Blast Hornet... I forget the others. Well, on their level select, you should be able to tell where they are because of the 4 question marks. But that's where the one is. You need, in order to get it, you need, to get it, you need to get one of the right armors over here once you get them. But it's rather complicated, and honestly, what I'm going to do is so much easier. And we're actually fairly close to the end of the stage. Yep, here we are, Gravity Beetle. He is weak to the Ray Splasher, hence why I'm going in this order. And you remember that problem I have with a lot of Robot Masters in X7 and a couple in X2, where when you, and a lot in this game actually, when you hit them with their weakness, they repeat their pattern? This guy is the Toad Man of that, where if you do it right, he should never be able to attack. When you hit him with the Ray Splasher, he hops, and then tries to attack, but if you hit him again, he hops. I honestly forget every attack he does. I know he has one attack where he creates a bit of a gravity hole, and you'll get stuck to it, and I think it's an instant kill, actually, if you get hit by it, but I'm not sure. I haven't fought this guy without his weakness in a while, so I forget what he does. I do remember that he is a fairly good Maverick to take on first, though, because I think I did that in my first playthrough for some reason, and I did fairly well against him, actually. Not too bad of a boss, especially with his weakness. And with that, there's only one more Maverick to go. However, remember how I mentioned the Mysterious Maverick goes away after you beat the 8th Maverick? I think we should go take care of him first. But first, let's see what we got for beating Gravity Beetle. For beating Gravity Beetle, we get an item I believe is called the Gravity Well? It's essentially a gravity bomb. What it does is that when you fire it, as X will demonstrate right now, it fires out and it'll create that little gravity field. However, it is actually hitting everything on screen, and it's actually very powerful. However, I never use it outside of 2 instances that you'll be seeing later in this video, actually. But it's time for us to go after that Mysterious Maverick, which I'm going to do in Volt Catfish's stage. Here, fairly early on the stage, there was this little platform I could have written down earlier. If you do that and head to the left, you can find a very special looking capsule. Let's head inside it. And we get actually one of my favorite pieces of music in the game, even though it's very short and very repetitive. This entire area is actually very treacherous. You got a lot of high damage enemies, and this portion. The elevator sometimes takes me up, sometimes doesn't. I think it depends on which Mavericks you've defeated. In fact, it probably is. That's probably what determines it. So, if you're me, you're going to have to deal with the debris falling from the sky, which it makes no sense as to why it is, mind you. Mind you, there have been less sensical stuff in video games that I've played. Oh, much, much less. I think those spikes that are instant kill, I'm not entirely sure, and Megaman climbs up this ladder rather fast. Anyway, let's see who this Mysterious Maverick is. He looked familiar to me, but I'm not sure if that was actually what I was seeing. You're trapped, X. File? Zero and I destroyed you years ago. This factory's set to blow in a matter of minutes. Until then, I'll try and keep you busy. Lay gasp! Vile from X1 is alive! Honestly, let's be honest, we all saw this coming when we first saw his sprite. And like at X1, he fights with his mech armor. However, it's very easy because of one reason. It stops right before it hits you, and then if you just dash to the left, you won't get hit. The mech armor itself is weak against the, freaking Ray Splasher, and is very, very easy, honestly. This is all it actually does. But once you defeat the mech armor, he himself is back, And he actually has two weaknesses, the Ray Splasher and the Spinning Blades. And his pattern's this: he jumps up in the sky, fires those bullets, jumps across the screen, fires that bomb, which then causes fire to go across the screen and then up the next wall. Like Bit and Bite, you can kill him with his weaknesses, but if you choose to, you can leave him alive. I'm going to kill him because, well, I want to make the final levels slightly easier, because killing Bit, Bite, and Vile does actually impact something in the final castle. But we'll get to that probably in the next two parts. But, yeah, Mile Mach 2. Vile Mach 2? Nothing too threatening, honestly. I think his X1 incarnation was harder. Then again, it helped that his mech armor was invincible back then. Don't think that this is the end, X. I will haunt you to the day you die. Why are my ellipses slowed down as well? Can I explode now? Thank you. Alrighty, Vile. I'll probably end up seeing you later in the series. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. If you leave him alive, as I mentioned, that will impact something later, but no matter what, you will fight him, and you will kill him, and when you kill him the second time, he'll always say those lines as well. Now, remember what he said about the factory blowing up? Yeah, he wasn't kidding. Well, we have, I think, around 50 seconds. I think it's exactly 50 seconds. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze. We have exactly 50 seconds to get out of here, other plays. Otherwise, the place explodes, and I think it's an instant kill. I've never actually seen what happens when you lose the time limit, but it's kind of strict either way. They give you a lot of energy in this place, though, that's for sure. Just stick to the wall here, you should be good. And honestly, once you're here, you're pretty much home free. Just air dash, and you should be good. As long as you have around 20 seconds when you reach this room, you're good, honestly. I forget if there's anything in those rooms below. And that's the last we'll see of Vile until later. However, later here in Volt Catfish's stage, there is something else I want to get, because we still don't have the heart... No, we have the heart tank. We still don't have the last upgrade in here. And what is it? Well, if we charge our Buster right here with the gravity well on, we get dragged up. And it's the last Dr. Light capsule. Let's see what you got for us this time, Light. Enter this capsule, X. Take this armor upgrade. The upgrade will decrease the damage done to your systems by half. As you receive damage, a defense field will be generated to protect you. This is actually a pretty good armor piece. I didn't like it much at first, but I actually learned how it worked. Pretty much, after you take a bit of damage, a blue defense shield will come up, and when that comes up, you won't take only 50% of the damage, you'll actually take 37.5% of the damage. And the enhancement chip for this, which you can find on one of the stages, further halves that damage so that you only take 25% damage, which is really good. Anyway, it's time for the final Maverick. Alrighty, Blast Hornet, last Maverick. And if you remember those right armors we've been finding, well, this is actually the stage where you have to find the first one. And there is also a light chip in here if you need it, but I don't, obviously, because I'm going for something else. Blast Hornet stage is kind of an odd one, honestly. It's very vertical for the most part. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 horizontal sections. But I'll get more into that later, obviously. If you come up here, there is a armor station. If you have the right armors by now, that's how you get the light chip. I think it's up there in the top right, actually. In case you ever find the light enhancement chip, capsules, they're pretty much the normal light armor capsules, except they're colored pink. I forget if I mentioned that already. Anyway, time for an actual mini-boss again. And what is it? Ah, our good old buddy CX4 chip. I forget if this thing has a weakness, but it's a very simple pattern either way. When it's rolling around like this, if you hit it, it'll jump in the air, so you need to watch out for that. It also has an attack very Armored Armadillo-like, where he'll roll across the entire perimeter of the room. And then he has one other attack where he'll start spinning in circles, like this actually, and bounce around the room, getting higher and higher with every single bounce. Nothing too hard, the Buster takes him out fairly quickly, so I don't really ever use a weakness against him if he even has one. But that's not even the first half of the stage. Welcome to the outside section. This is where both of the upgrades in this stage that you want are. I'll get more into that momentarily, but actually, no, we're actually about to get it. You need to bomb this, destroy this little section here with the Tornado Fang. And then you need to come down here. I'm not sure how anyone found this out, by the way. Mind you, they do have some hints, but it's still rather cryptic. Once we get down here, we can find the normal ride armor. This is the N armor, which I just think stands for Chimera armor. And it controls exactly like X1 and 2. And you get out of it by holding up and jump. It's rather plain. The F armor that we got earlier was the Frog armor. Pretty much, it's this thing, but it has underwater capabilities. And it's only useful in like maybe 2 stages. We haven't gotten the other armors yet, so I'll get into those when we get them. Anyway, jump up here out of the armor, and you can find the next upgrade, the Heart Tank. Right there was actually a mini-boss we could have fought back outside there, not in this room right here. This is the Bit and Bite room. But you only fight it if you haven't beaten Gravity Beetle. I know that's one of the few environmental changes I know for a fact is, like, that made grammatical sense, shut up. I think those spikes are instant kill, I'm not entirely sure. That's one thing that Megaman's kind of inconsistent with, I'll admit to that, is that some spikes are instant kill, in fact most of them are, but there are some that aren't. Like I remember, I think it's Morph Moth stage next to, there were some spikes that were not instant kill. Ooh, extra life. I'm getting a lot of those this part, actually. Anyway, time for Blast Hornet, and like Gravity Beetle, I don't remember this guy's pattern because his weakness kind of puts him in a pattern. He's weak to the Gravity Well, obviously, and I only know maybe 2 of his attacks. First off, well, actually, really first off, I love the way this guy looks. This is actually a really cool sprite. First off, he'll shoot his stinger out at you occasionally, I believe. And he also has this attack where he'll send out little mini-bees that'll kind of fly across the room. Here they are right now, actually. But as you can see, the Gravity Well not only puts him in a stun lock that he can't do anything in, but it also destroys those mini-bees. The only strategy I can really recommend with his weakness is try to shoot it in a place that you can dash to so it doesn't have to waste as much time returning to you. Because as you can see, he has no chance if you send it out. I don't remember any of his attacks besides the one I mentioned, and even then, I'm not sure if those are actual attacks he has. Oh well. But with his weakness, he is very, very easy. Toadman easy? Nah, I still think Toadman is easier. Oh, poor Toadman. But yeah, that was Blast Hornet stage. Fairly easy overall, at least for me. And for beating him, we get what I consider the most useless weapon in the X and the Mega Man X series ever, because I have never used this thing. I have no idea what it does. I think some bosses are weak to it in the final castle, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I know it does this. That's about it. Parasitic Bomb is its name, by the way. But yeah, that is also all 8 Mavericks. So what happens now? We get different music, which I actually kind of like. Hey, Dr. Kane! Any problems, Dr. Kane?
I pulled some memory chips from the Maverick, controlled by Dr. Doppler. I analyzed them and found out that Dr. Doppler is trying to create a powerful new battle body by collecting the special abilities from the latest breed of Reploids.
Battle body?
First I thought Dr. Doppler was trying to create it for himself, but the information indicates that he will not be able to interface with it. So it must be for someone else.
Sigma? Can he still be alive?
A hidden laboratory has been pinpointed at Point D. All indications are that it is Dr. Doppler's secret lab. You need to get there immediately.
On my way. It's time I put an end to the Sigmas for good. Although we still have 5 games. And a remake. And I'm not joking, by the way. If I recall correctly, that is the last we see of Dr. Kane ever until Maverick Hunter X. And with that, also, we've unlocked the final levels. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. And in Part 5, we're actually going to do some item collection before heading on to the final levels. See you guys then.